Now Anthony Joshua is scrambling to save his American dream. Jarrell Miller failed test on March 20, putting Anthony Joshua fight in jeopardy. AJ's American debut has now been thrown into chaos and cost Miller millions. Big Baby has also left Joshua with the awkward task of hunting a replacement. It is likely that Miller took dangerous drug as he knew he was in over his head. B. Jeff Powell for the Daily Mail published 11:30 British Summer Time, the 17th of April 2019, updated 11:55 British Summer Time, the 17th of April 2019. At a single drug-fueled stroke, Jarrell Miller has not only plunged Anthony Joshua's American debut into chaos but also pulled the last of a fraying rug from under a renaissance of heavyweight boxing. It is despicable enough that Big Baby Miller's failed urine test has wrought such havoc on the champion who was giving him his shot at the big time, and on his home city along with its iconic sporting venue. It is even more criminal that his cheating has put into yet more lamentable context the reluctance thus far of the three giants of the ring, Joshua, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, to face each other in the super fights which can restore prize fighting to its former glory. Anthony Joshua, left, has been left in the lurch after Jarrell Miller, right, failed a drugs test. Miller took a dangerous endurance-enhancing drug and knew he was in over his head. Rationale for Miller fighting Joshua was that he is a native New Yorker with a knockout record and as such could sell tickets and TV subscriptions, while opening the door for AJ to the American market. Instead he has forfeited up to $6 million, probably incurred a year's suspension, and so damaged his sport as to render himself virtually unemployable for a long time thereafter. He has also left Joshua with the awkward task of hunting a replacement. It will not be easy to identify a US-based challenger for AJ's world titles who is credible enough to save the show scheduled for Madison Square Garden on June 1. Promoter Eddie Hearn can hardly bring in another of his English heavyweights for a fight over here, and his problem is complicated further by the urgency of giving any new man as much as possible of the upcoming 6 weeks in which to prepare. Big Baby, better call him the Nightmare on Broadway. The substance for which ESPN revealed he failed a VADA test on March 20 is GW1516, also known as Cardarine and Endurable. It is an endurance aid with cancerous properties, considered so dangerous that when Olympic athletes were found to be users it was banned instantly by WADA in all sports. Why would Miller, a bulk of a heavyweight at some 315 pounds, take such a risk with his health and his future? Well, he does possess remarkable stamina for someone of his body size, but the deep-lying answer is likely to be that for all his fast-talking bombast he knew he was in over his head against Joshua and sought a legal remedy for those anxieties. Joshua is now hunting a replacement opponent and his bid to crack America is on the rock. Shea also has history as performance-enhancing drug abuser, having been suspended during his early incarnation as kickboxer. The supreme irony is that while on their media tour promoting this fight, Miller repeatedly accused Joshua, who has always tested clean, of being a steroid bodybuilder. Even though it is Easter, Miller cannot expect the New York Athletic Commission to forgive him even if he knew not what he did. This city, and Madison Square Garden in particular, is making a concentrated effort to regain its status as the boxing capital of the world which it lost to Las Vegas. Amir Khan this Saturday, Wilder on May 18, Joshua on June 1, then Gennady Golovkin on June 8, are all coming to town. The Big Apple cannot afford to let its moral guard down now. Nor will it welcome the upheaval. Several thousand tickets have already been sold for Joshua vs. Miller, and buyers can expect to be offered refunds if they do not want to see a different fight. Appetite had been building for the fight, and the failed test will cost Miller millions, which begs this most pressing question: who will Joshua be fighting? There are nothing like as many candidates as there are Democrats seeking their party's nomination to do battle with Donald Trump in next year's presidential election. Boxers do not like having to adapt to replacements with different styles from opponents they're already preparing to fight. So it is in Joshua's best interest, as well as that of all concerned, that a decision is made quickly. The IBF, whose belt is one of the 4 worn by Joshua, are unlikely to sanction any replacement not ranked in the top 10 heavyweights. That list does include one American, Michael Hunter Jr., but he is not really of the pedigree required for a fight of this stature. Which, as far as local interest goes, leaves Cuba's U.S.-domiciled veteran Luis Ortiz. This King Kong, as he calls himself, has lost only once, to Wilder. Although slowing down at 40, he is sufficiently durable to make a fight of it against Joshua and heavy-handed enough to pose a tangible threat. Luis Ortiz, left, is a possible opponent, and the Cuban overcame Christian Hammer in March. Not that the fight would be easy to make. Ortiz is promoted by Al Heyman, who works with television companies other than Hearn with his new allegiance to the DAZN streaming network. And be sure that any fighter coming to the rescue of an event which Hearn insists must go on, and for which Joshua is continuing to train, will hold him to ransom for a purse higher than that which Miller was due to be paid. But since it is the rival promoters and TV moguls who are being blamed for obstructing those big fights the public want to see, Hearn and Heyman have the chance here to set an example of the collaboration needed to make them happen. Meanwhile, however, instead of the Fury-Wilder rematch and Joshua fighting the winner, we're left with Wilder v Dominic Breazeale, Fury v Tom Schwartz, and Joshua v another. Let us hope that the big baby fiasco bangs all the right heads together. Let's block ads. Why?